Good afternoon, it's 2 o'clock, December 15th, and I'm calling to order the regular Resources and Infrastructure Committee meeting. We have a quorum. We have 4 of our committee members present. Committee member Mark Meeks is an excuse of absence. My chair report. We had a board meeting on December 11th. I'm going to go over just a few of this isn't a touch screen. Okay. Just a few of the items that we covered, a lot more than what I'm going to tell you about. So a lot of good stuff. I would suggest you watch the recording if you didn't watch the meeting. Anyway, so we had the election of officers, and Harry Farmer, who just joined us, was elected the president of the board for the upcoming year, and I was elected as vice president.
Good choice.
Thank you. Outgoing President Deborah Scott was thanked for her excellent service as president and was presented with a special plaque and flowers by our general manager and staff. General Manager McElhaney gave a review of the 2025 CCSD accomplishments, and several members of staff and employees were recognized. And he can go into more detail on that if he wants later, but we had a long list of accomplishments for the past year, making a lot of progress on a lot of projects and grants received and all of that. The board approved an MOU between the San Luis Obispo County Flood Control and Water Conservation District and the CCSD for operation of the Cambria flood control pump during the storm events. This is the pump station that's across the street from the Shell station.
Oh,
and I believe that this includes training of some of our CCSD employees.
We get to turn on the pumps?
Well, we don't have to, they would have to submit a written request to us via email or some sort of communication factor, and then we can either accept or deny. But yes, then we would be operating that flood pump. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than when it's floods and then we call them and say, could you turn the pumps on?
Can't get there, it's flooded.
Okay, the board also voted to accept the community funding grant award of $935,000 for the CCSD fire apparatus replacement. This is going to be for our fire truck. We adopted board and standing committee meeting schedules for 2026, and we'll be going over the R&I committee meeting schedule for next year towards the end of our meeting. We reviewed the standing committee chairs and liaison appointments, and all of the standing committee chairs remain the same. So you've got me again for the following year. We approved a public works contract with B&T service station contractors for fuel tank rehabilitation at the rodeo grounds and the CCSD fire station, and approved the budget adjustment. And I imagine Mr. Green will include that in his utilities report. Okay, do we have any community committee member communications? Nope. Is there any questions or public comment on what I just talked about? Nope. And we have 2 people on Zoom. One is an employee. I don't know who the other one is, but their hand is not raised. So we're on to Mr. Green and his utilities report.
Great. Thank you, Chair Dean. We'll begin with some work that Program Manager Mr. Reaper has been working diligently on. We have completed our water loss audit, which was validated with the City of SLO last Wednesday. I believe we did the validation. Mr. Reaper has also been working on, so let me scale back here. What we do is we trade validations. This is usually something you have to pay for. In the past years, we paid up to like $3,500 to have a third-party validator come in and validate our water loss audit. The last couple of years, we've kind of exchanged that duty with SLO City, so that way we can both save some money, you know, on that auditing purpose.
Kind of like
So
a peer review.
it's a peer review.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you have to be certified to do this water loss audit and be a validator for that. So Mr. Reaper has that certification, as does the City of SLO. So we just, again, they kind of exchange water loss audits and go over that. So that will be coming out. It's actually due January 1st, so we're a little ahead of the game here. And I think we'll probably be bringing that to R&I perhaps. It might be a potential future agenda item if we want to talk about that. kind of in line with that though too is our urban water management plan. Mr. Reamer's been working collaboratively with Madaus Water Management. Directly, we have weekly meetings, so this is something that, this is a huge report, as you guys all know. So, we've been kind of slowly chewing away at it and making some progress. So again, we'll be bringing that to you probably late January. It'll be completed. And so we'll probably maybe look for, either a special R9 meeting or March and April, where we'll have to bring that and provide that presentation on there. I do want to touch on the ZLD pilot, which just occurred. So the long anticipated pilot was successful. Global Water Innovations reached a 98% removal, which was just achieved on the last day of last week. So Global Water Innovations has now demobilized. They will produce a final report detailing like electrical consumption, chemical consumption, and other valuable metrics. We'll look to bring forward to R9, review these and as part of the whole project. Also during the time while they were out for that month, we had several visitors attend. We had regional water boards attend. We had some engineering groups from Wallace Engineering. We had South San Luis Obispo Sanitation come and visit the plant and our brine storage. They were actually out last Friday morning. And then we had Congressman Panetta's field representative, as well as Assemblyman Don Addis's senior field representative, who actually got back to us the next day and provided some Prop 4 guidance for upcoming funding that is pertinent to the CLD piece or the water reclamation piece there too. So we'll be looking at applying for that funding here shortly after I think it opens up early next year. Yeah, so there's no application to really submit anything yet, but it's in the back of our mind. So we'll be looking for some more funding there too. Also on that ZLD pilot tip, we had the Army Corps of Engineers grant funding. We still had about $4.2 million left on that. General Manager McElhenney and I had to sign off on giving that back because we didn't have any projects at that time ready to break ground. And it had been a 10-year-old grant funding that was open, so they had to close on that. But there's also quite a bit of funding for this with Army Corps of Engineers coming up in the future too. So there's many different ways that we can look to kind of fund this last piece for our WRF out there without coming from the enterprise fund. Our AMP, our adaptive management plan was ongoing. We had our fourth quarter AMP monitoring performed by Cleveland Biological. Kevin Merck Biology will submit a final year-end report. Again, boots on the ground are Cleveland Biological doing the field reporting. And then Mr. Merck does the kind of cleanup and finish work there on that report. So we'll be looking forward to that in the upcoming months, probably around January or so. Our San Simeon transmission line, that's our wastewater effluent line and our water transmission line from the San Simeon well field. We met with State Parks again. Year and a half later, they have some more requests for some additional exhibits, layering GIS over where our potholes are and our areas of avoidance. So there's some more things we have to work on to satiate State Parks request, and our contractors or our consultants, engineering consultants, Canon, are working on that right now. Unfortunately, fortunately, we got a right of entry permit with encroachment permit with Caltrans. But that has a drop dead date at the end of this month. So we'll have to file an extension for this and then kind of coordinate that with when we get this right of entry permit from State Parks. Again, just a little difficulty there. This project is still far out, but we'd like to get some of that boring and information done so we can get those 90% drawings or some of those engineering plans ready, so we can go to CDP. There's still a lot more permitting and permits and things to obtain there. So yeah, it's coming along, but slowly, unfortunately, and it's out of our control. So we're still working very hard on it with our engineering consultants. Fuel tank. So BSST construction, they received resolution for that. We're looking to break ground by the end of January. So insurance and bonding and those documents have been, we still need that, but a notice of award has been sent to BSST for that. So there's some signing against some insurance and some bonding we need before we break ground on that project, but that will be coming up next month. Again, that's about a week lead time or a week performance time for each tank site there. So we just need 2 good weeks of good weather in the upcoming year to get that done, and that'll be completed. As of today, as probably about right now, we have our second free electric vehicle charger from Ford Pro. Thank you, Ford Pro. That got installed today. So now we have a 40 amp and an 80 amp charging device at the wastewater plant. So we can charge up to 2 vehicles in parallel at a time. We'll move on to Stewart Street tanks. If anyone's driven by Richard or Stewart Street, you'll notice a big white tarp over our tank. So Crosno has completed all the steel assembly and welding, including X-ray inspection of the welding, which passed with flying colors. They demobilized last week, allowing the scaffolding and tent contractors to come in and set up that. They've demobilized, so we're looking at Tuesday or Wednesday of this week to break ground on the coatings. The coatings, I will let the community know, this will be the noise impactful part of this. It'll be sandblasting. There'll be a generator running after sandblasting and the initial coating goes on, helping to dehumidify the interior so you get that perfect coating cure time with that. So that's all coming up in the next couple weeks. Next week, Christmas week, we will have contractors on site doing coating Monday through Wednesday with the remaining part of that week off, and then beginning again the Monday after Christmas. Superintendent Meeks completed with some help the water rights and diversion reporting for our San Simeon and Santa Rosa well sites. So that's in. We can have a little conversation about that if we like. And while we were going over that, we noticed that we're on a trajectory for a 520 acre foot consumption this year. So that's about 10 or 11 more than last year. So our trend on consumption is going up very incrementally, 5% or so. Not a huge amount.
Is that for both well field?
Yeah, that'll be total annual consumption for Santa Rosa and San Simeon diversion. Just about 10 over. And with that, I think that wraps up all my projects that I want to talk about initially. Mr. Reaper, if you want to touch on anything.
Certainly, Ms. Green. So Stillwater has provided with a draft study plan for the Santa Rosa Creek in-stream flow study. We're going to meet with the technical advisory committee for that beginning of January. We sent it to them to kind of review, and that's members of CDFW, Coastal Commission, NOAA. So we'll wait to see what they have to say about the study plan in early January.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we'll take their comments and see if we can incorporate it into that document as well. Yeah, that's coming up. Very good. Any other topics Superintendent Meeks want to bring up or?
Must be a question or two.
Yeah,
On the tank. When do you anticipate you being able to fill your tank?
February, end of February. Yeah. We're making coordinations right now with the Division of Drinking Water and State Water Resources Control Board. So when you place that tank online, it has to go through a disinfection process. So we want to make sure we follow that to the letter of the law. And so again, we're kind of collaborating that with the powers at DDW and with us. So that way, when that tank's ready to go on and all the coating and all the inspections pass, we're going to fill it up, disinfect it, and then put it online into our system.
And
yeah.
What, drain the other tank and
Oh, I see.
to replace it, right?
Right,
So
yes.
That's next.
Yes,
that's
and
next step.
yeah, and this next will be the big tank, I think, that we're assembling next. So yeah, that will be coming offline, and we're looking to have the completion for that second tank late August.
Oh,
So
that'd be great.
yeah,
So you think they're gonna start demolishing the second tank, maybe March?
start of March, weather permitting.
Okay.
Again, but yes, we'll look at start of March.
Too bad you can't transfer the water from that tank to the other tank. Can you?
This time I think we will. So when we disinfect it, chlorine residual will be high. So we'll have to take some of that and blend it into the new tank.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, another project is just completed last week, and that's our backup power generator at rodeo grounds. So we've got a new automatic transfer switch that's installed there. that's active and it works. We shut off PG&E manually. It transferred to the new generator and, started up and then started to provide power. So everything's in working order. There's an exhaust, about a 4-inch piece or 6-inch pipe that we have to affix to the top for, exhaust, and that's the final piece, but everything's up and running. So if we have any emergency events, we know we have backup power at rodeo grounds, which is a huge stress reliever for me because that is the heart of our system right there. So yeah, we know we have power and backup power, which also serves Mr. Gary's facility and resources shop there as well. So, and power to the restroom, if I'm not mistaken. Also, yeah. So those couple of projects are done, and so yeah. I think that wraps up with the projects report. I think we can move into.
You want to see if anybody has any questions
Oh,
on
yeah,
that part of your
absolutely.
report? No. Does anyone have any questions on what's been reported so far? No? And I don't see any hands up. Okay.
Great. Would you like to move into the sanitary sewer management plan?
We need to do public comment on items not on the agenda, and we need to do the consent agenda.
No, first.
If we're following the order here.
Let's follow the.
Is there any public comment on items not on the agenda? And I don't see any hands raised. So we can move on to the consent agenda. So the agenda says that we are going to be reviewing 3 sets of minutes, but there's only 2 in the agenda packet. So looking at the August 18th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, does anybody have any corrections that they see needing to be made? Has everyone looked at them? Okay. I need a motion to accept the August 18th regular meeting minutes as written. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, does anybody want to second the motion? Mr. Grimwald? Do a roll call to be official. Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Mr. Grimwald?
Aye.
Mr. Seaver?
Aye.
And Mr. Howell?
Aye.
Okay, and we have 4 ayes and 1 member absent. Okay. So looking at the October 20th, 2025 special meeting minutes. What did I just do? August? Wow, that was a long time ago. Okay, does anybody, this is our special meeting, which was the tour of the Stewart Street tanks. Does anybody have any corrections for those minutes? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
Oh, go ahead.
I move the week.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, do a roll call. Mr. Seaver?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Mr. Grimald?
Aye.
Mr. Howell?
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 absent. And we do not have the December 2nd minutes in here. That's okay, we can do those at the next meeting. Okay, so I think you're on to the sanitary sewer management plan.
Fantastic. Sanitary sewer management plan. So the goal is really to provide a plan and schedule to properly manage, operate, and maintain all parts of the collection system to reduce any vulnerabilities or any instances that would cause a sanitary sewer overflow and mitigate any sanitary sewer overflows that do occur. So this isn't really a treat. So we've got a couple things going on right now. We've got the SST, which is very treatment plant centric. And this document is really more of our sanitary sewer system and distribution system and booster stations or lift stations, as we call them, in wastewater. So this is just kind of plan and scheduling to make sure that you're maintaining it and operating it. So that way you don't have any sanitary sewer overflows. This should be updated every 6 years. I think we've overshot that by a year or 2 here. So this document's a little late and tardy, but again, we want to put together a fantastic document, not just, something to check the boxes, just pass through for just to do it. So this is something Mr. Reaper and I and Mr. Arthur spent a great deal of time on. We've also had some assistance from MKN, our engineering consultant, to kind of help us go through this. They do this for a lot of other agencies our size and bigger. So with that, where should we start, Tristan? Mr. Reaper? There's a lot to this, so I'm not sure where we're just gonna kind of drop in. I think this is a 165-page document right now. I'll kind of give some highlights. One of the things that we really retooled was our sanitary sewer overflow response plan. And we updated our ERP, which is our emergency response plan. Kind of on the heels of the boil notice from September, we revisited our ERPs in water and in wastewater. So that was, thank you, Mr. Meeks, for that impetus to get us going on our emergency response plan. That was much needed. And so we've incorporated a lot more fire department related items into when to call the sheriffs and getting it out to the media and sources like that. So that way we're getting word out for avoidance and just for information and for transparency as well. But Mr. Ruby, you give us an idea where we can kind of jump in on this, or do you have something you want to cover? Or?
I just want to ask if all of the committee members have read this.
It's only 165 pages.
Reviewed.
Likely.
Me?
I didn't read it.
Okay, did you read it? Okay,
Is John Alchin still?
No, he's,
no,
Not for 2 years.
Is
He retired.
That's
I read the 2018 one and I was looking for changes and I think I don't understand what the changes were.
changes are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have some like regional water board staff, and so there's a couple things to update in there. We need to go over a final time, and we will be submitting this to regional water boards for kind of their approval or for their input as well. But this is just kind of our first reveal here, so yeah. Again, if there's any place you wants to start or kind of dive into or any questions.
Just go for it. We'll take questions when you're done. I also want to, at some point, you have a map of our lift stations with this document.
Yeah.
And I'd like to mark on my copy of the map, and yeah, I don't know if there's a way you can put the map on the screen.
I think we can, we can just here, if I can find the page.
I would like
that
label the lift stations, because as we go through these meetings, quite often he'll bring up a lift station like lift station B or whatever. And I think you guys all need to know where those lift stations are, what lift station we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I had asked if we could possibly label them on a map for us.
Yeah, but it's not in the Word, it's in the PDF document.
What page this was on? It's in,
Yeah,
It's in this
master
report.
system, yeah, what's that?
I think we all know where lift station B4 is because we toured it, but
No, it actually isn't here.
And-
Where is it? It's an appendix, isn't it?
1, 3, I don't know what
Should be a-
page of the appendix. I don't have it.
Let me see.
Oh, there it is.
page 16.
Oh, not
Okay.
in the appendix.
She wants to put it on the.
36.
Yeah, if there's a way to put it on the screen and then you can just kind of point out for everybody. I'll put them on my map and then share my map with everyone else.
Jim, do you want to join the meeting?
Yes.
The only reason why I asked is I'm working, I don't want people to see my screen while I'm doing.
1, 3. 2,
Or Tristan, do you want to?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, actually, if he's got it up.
Page 16, but it's black and white in the agenda packet. I printed it off online,
Online it's in color, yeah.
it's in color online. You all know where B4 is because we had a
That's right.
tour of B4, correct? The one at the far end of Green Street.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I just have is the main going between the, from, Marine Terrace across the ranch, is that a force main or is that gravity?
Is that A-line or it's just gravity? From.
The one that goes
Road.
real long and that goes across the ranch.
That, yeah, that ends up in lift station A.
Ah, so that's
And
gravity.
There it gets pumped out to the corner.
Recording in progress.
If you want, we can do this, offline later and you can send it to the committee members. Would that be easier?
That's a great idea.
In color? Yeah, there's no point sitting here. We got things to talk about, so we can.
Tristan's got it.
Just keep- I know we looked at it once when we were at the wastewater treatment plant, but nobody has it down on a map.
Right. We do have that very large poster, but it's kind of hard to show unless you're in
Yeah.
person. I'll kind of, well, at least pulling it up, I'll kind of start to talk about some background here. So there's a lot of things in here that we speak to. We want to make sure that we have projects that we're looking at, areas for improvement and to reduce the vulnerability or, capacity for sanitary sewer overflow. So they want to verify that we're taking these to like R&I and the board and looking at those capital improvement projects and putting, dates and times on there because they want to make sure that we're ensuring, upgrades on our system and we're not letting this deteriorating system just kind of rot without it. Mr. Reaper and I have said that the wastewater system here degrades at a much faster rate than our water infrastructure does. It's much lower and installed in much deeper areas, so it has a lot higher pitch and elevation and rise and fall. And with 10 stations
Yeah.
in total, so that there's quite a bit of pumps and motors and VFDs and stuff to maintain. So they really concentrate on the like transparency from operations to the board. And then where the rubber hits the road with the board, and are we executing these projects in a timely manner? As scheduled, as strategized, and are we getting to and where we're repairing these before emergency and spill events happen? And so that's kind of what this document is doing as well too, is we're highlighting our areas that we're improving on. We're showing that we're going through board resolutions to, put that out there and be transparent. And then that we're actually scheduling this work and budgeting this work to be performed.
Exactly. Okay, so I have, over here, we have our sewer system map, and this isn't the best image to see this. Yeah, I can try to make it a little bit bigger.
There it goes.
It looks a little bit different on my computer than on my Zoom. We can start with the north end of town. So lift station 9 is the one out on Moonstone Beach Drive.
So that's
One
this one
here.
here.
Yeah, that's our
Yeah.
furthest northerly lift station.
Okay.
Correct. And then here's the wastewater treatment plant, this little purple or pink polygon here. And then we have lift station A.
That's this
Right
one,
there on the
This one
coast.
Here, right on the coast, correct.
right here. Or right here.
It's the upper of the two that are next to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then lift station 4 is the one, the lift station here.
Right here.
I
So
see.
just right next to lift station A.
Okay.
Moving inland, this is lift station B right here.
Mhm.
Next to the creek, next to highway 1. This is the one that you see when you walk down the crosstown trail to come to that house with the barbed wire fence around it. That's what that is. Now moving inland further, this is lift station 8 up on Hillcrest.
Oh, yes, yeah.
The other of our two really small lift stations. Moving south, this is lift station B1.
This one here.
Yeah, the one near Tin City next to the hardware store kind
Okay.
Ah,
of,
That's been semi flood proof
It's the hillside from that collapsed and then it was.
About doing something else with that at some point that we decide not to, the gravity feed.
Well, Mr. Reaver had done some calculations years ago, and we think we could hit that hydraulically. But the permitting and going through what is most likely bedrock right there, that the installation would cost more than basically flood proofing it in its current location.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, it would be a directional drill through solid rock, so. Not the most inexpensive, and
Thank
then,
goodness. There's that.
so it's going. From here, this is lift station B2, right here, it's out on Eaton Road,
There.
corner of Eaton and Wood, those, where that generator is kind of parked on the side of the road.
Yeah, you see a total generator.
Oh, yeah.
Right across the highway from that is lift station B3, which is that little brown building. You can see it,
Yeah.
on your right as you're heading south towards the light at,
Is it this one?
Hardin.
Yes.
B3?
Yes. Can move south farther to lift station B4 is the one that you see as you're leaving town. All the way at the bottom. Yeah, as you're leaving town, it'll be out. To the right. Going back towards to the coast from there, we have lift station A1. Down in the Marine Terrace.
They're close to Lambton, just to provide perspective.
It's like halfway between Lambton and the other end of the ranch, yeah.
Yeah.
Got all of them?
All of them, or.
Five.
Yeah.
That'll be 9, 10. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you.
The quickie just sort of on over there on Worcester Drive, where there's two of them within several blocks of each other. Is there some historical reason as to why that's why we have two lift stations practically next door to each other?
It's all about how the topography works.
Yeah. Oh, so there
And-
must be something in between.
Yeah, the trunk line's up on Windsor, but you have those houses that are just downhill enough that they can't
Got it.
gravity over there, so they need a second lift station.
Other features of the SSMP is looking at being responsible in your system and your customers, especially your commercial customers that produce fats, oil, or greases. They want to make sure that you have a program in place. Obviously, the Cambria Pines Lodge is one of our larger donators of grease. So Mr. Reaper and Superintendent Arthur and I made a visit there about 2 weeks ago to look at they have kind of a clipboard or sheet as they're looking at it when they clean it. So we're inspecting them. We'll be doing that monthly because that's kind of a huge source of, if that's not maintained properly, it's a huge source of grease. And then that's kind of in the middle of the system. So that just pushes the rest of the way through the system and causes difficulty at other locations. So again, part of the SSMP is to kind of hold us accountable to holding our customers accountable as well too. And making sure that we're getting out jetting lines, clearing lines, cameraing lines. These are all metrics that this document's kind of helping you facilitate and make sure that you execute. Other than that, there's some updates that we did to, obviously, we're updating current list of board of directors, our staff and contact information has changed a little bit. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson, for the updated district organizational chart. We have all these pieces are metrics and pieces that we have to put in there. We have to give an updated list of our emergency contractors, kind of part of the emergency response plan, like where are you gonna get your chemicals or fuel? And if we get kind of cut off from services here. And so these are all things that we put into that document. Also kind of the delineation of responsibilities. And we put the general manager serves as the chief executive officer responsible for implementing board policies and managing district operations and ensuring regulatory compliance across all services. Oh, yes, yeah, big time. Thank you. And then, of course, the designated responsible representative is General McElhenney with following then to Superintendent Arvo. piece. There's several elements to responsibility that we've updated in there. The chain of command is updated. The response. Touched on all of our projects and what we've done past and where we are at now with like the SST. And then, of course, our future projects and what we have budgeted, looking 5-10 years down the road here that are intended updates in our system to make our system more robust and less vulnerable to SSO. 4 gets into the operations and maintenance of the program, where we provide a map of the sanitary sewer system. We go over the operation and maintenance of it. Rehabilitation and replacement plan is also a part of that as well. We list here our other planned collection system projects, which cover new submersible pumps at lift stations A1, B1, and B3. Creating motor control centers or MCCs for lift station A and B3. Adding or improving bypass piping at lift station A1, and B3. And then installing a new control panel at lift station A, B1, and B3. And then as far as wet valve and valve vault at lift station B1 as well. We touch on training. We get a huge document of all the training that we do weekly with wastewater, all the collections training that they do, which we actually get certification for. We list our equipment inventory here. These are all equipments that we need out in the field for cleaning or clearing or inspection. So cameras and trash pumps and God forbid if you had a spill that you have a spill response kit and absorbent and cones and way to contain that spill if it were to happen. Section 5 comes in on the design and performance provisions. Sewer trunk connections, kind of getting into some of our covenants and restrictions for us as far as lateral installation, our procedures and standards, following inspection. 6 gets into the overflow emergency response plan, which we've kind of touched on already, and all the metrics that are involved in that. There's several appendix that cover that. Appendix G might be listed as 6 on here. Again, we have some final edits with punctuation and nomenclature and identifying some of the appendixes. But that is our new SSO report form, incident and log forms right there. Which also covers in our notification and reporting, which we touched on how we're reporting to water boards and then to our media to let them know there is for avoidance. See what figure 6.1 is our CWIC's reporting requirements, and this is a great kind of thing if you guys want to revisit how we kind of delineate and have kind of a food chain of who we contact in those events and experiences. Sanitary system over response. We get into training and traffic and crowd control, system overflow impact mitigation. Then we spend quite a bit of time in section 7 on the fog control program, our regulatory requirements, what we require from our fog customers, commercial customers that are out there. Identification of grease out problems. We know we have a grease alley here, which is constantly monitored and cleaned. And again, we are visiting those customers, some of our higher, more impactful customers, again, like the lodge, that we're visiting them monthly to make sure they're maintaining their responsibility. Element 8 gets into system evaluation, capacity, assurance, and capital improvements plan. Again, this is quite a large piece of this SSMP. Then we start to look at a capacity assessment and design, so kind of future flow potential and having high flow days like storm events. So this all kind of touches on that there. And stop me at any time if you'd like to dive in a little bit further here. And then 8.5, we start to get into the capital improvement plan, and we list what we where we've done, how far we've come and what we've gotten planned here for the future.
Page you on?
This is 51 of this document, section 9.1.
I was trying to follow along with you.
51.
Yeah, it's such a huge document.
It's
hard to know
huge.
exactly what to
Yeah. This,
focus on.
and then we kind of divide into annual, semi-annual, quarterly and monthly hotspot cleaning and maintenance. Appendix H kind of talks to that. And we talk to our manhole inspections. Part of our capital improvement plan is our manholes to the PAM Rex lids that get away from, they're a completely sealed manhole lid. We've done like, how many? 200?
About 200.
About 200. We started in the lower lying areas where you get that sheet flow or that trepidation from the storms that come and kind of rest. We've got all of our lower lying, or the majority of our lower lying manhole lids have been replaced with Pamex, but we're also looking to replace other hotspots or other areas and pretty much, make the system more robust. Again, each of those manholes that we have that are not Pamex have a 1-inch pick hole. That 1-inch pick hole is 5 gallons a minute. Intrusion or infiltration into our system, obviously adding to our influence during storm events, well, they're already high anyway. So there's just areas that we can eliminate that 5 gallons a minute. And I think we have 891 manholes.
Yeah, 800 and something.
It's total, between somewhere about 850, close to 900 manholes in the system. And again, we've done 200 that we've kind of made more robust with that Pamex lid. And that's why we want to continue to venture out in there. Anywhere you can reduce or remove infiltration and intrusion into your system, it's going to be a lot easier on the plant and a lot easier on your underground infrastructure as well. We have some response to odor response here, which we don't really have much problems. It's more treatment plant-ish, but we don't really have that many odorous days anymore. We had some while we had some transfer, while we transferred down to one clarifier or aeration basin while we were running one train. So we had some issues while we were going through that upgrade at the plant. But normal operation, we don't really see that.
There's an occasional manhole that has an odor problem, though.
Hmm.
I've put a wine cork in one several times.
Well,
It smelled like there's a dead chicken in there.
well, please let us know. That would be something that we'd like to put that on for our next Pamex replacement.
That was me.
Should be a wine cork in this manhole cover.
Covering up the dead chicken we put in there. We'll work on that.
Tucky climbed down in there a year or two ago
Did you
to
get
check to make sure there wasn't a dead chicken in there.
I have a question, Jim.
Yes.
On the appendix H, where all those spots are, and I think you said it, but maybe I wasn't listening. How did you guys determine when it was a keep track hotspot versus a high clean frequency, where you have all these categories? Presumably that's as a result of inspections.
Exactly.
Okay.
From inspections and just from historical
Gotcha.
issues that have arisen.
Yeah, when there were previous centuries or overflows, they would add that.
Got it.
add
Okay.
the
So that's
spot
sort of it.
to- And yeah, some of them need it more often than others, like the line through Burn Canyon, every 3 months, we gotta clean it. Otherwise, the grit builds up in the low spots in the pipe and can reduce the capacity.
Interesting. Well, thank you. Yeah, I just was kind of curious about that. But can I make a comment while we stop?
Absolutely.
The one thing I take away both from this and from reading the first of all, this seems far more complete than the 2018 version. There's stuff in here that I didn't see before. But even in reading the 2018, what was interesting to me and what the public maybe needs to be made a little more aware of is how seriously the state regards these overflows. This is something we never want to have happen. They're always saying, oh, don't, save your money here. He says, but if you do that and you risk an overflow, the consequences are far worse. And I'm not sure people really understand, but if you read this, it's very clear that it's almost more important than the drinking water, actually, in terms of all this control.
Absolutely. And as far as notice of violations and fines go, there's in the county, we've had a wastewater system that someone is actually going to federal prison for a student
Really?
violation. Yeah.
Wow.
This is about
So, yeah, that
15 years
makes
ago. Yeah. It's not news. It was at the men's call.
Yeah, it's still.
So, yeah.
I would like you to take my name off.
Is that, that's why General Manager McMahoney's name's at the top. Thank you very much, sir. We'll visit and bring you a file and a cake. So. But yeah, no,
Do not approve the form.
thank you, Don, for pointing that out. Yeah, there is a huge importance to this, and this is why this program, the SSMP
Yeah.
and monitoring your wastewater system is so important. Well, especially in our environment. You look at where half our lift stations are. They're right next to the Santa Rosa Creek, at one location or another. So yeah, this is huge. And then if not the creek, then we have the ocean, which is, we definitely don't want to discharge anywhere at any time. And definitely those locations as well. Yeah, so thank you for bringing up the importance of that. Yeah. It's kind of something that's just kind of given in our position, but yeah, we need to really, put that out in the ether out there so people realize how important that is.
Well, you
yeah.
present this before the board, make sure you point that out there too, yeah.
Well, we can also point out that getting that new backhaul cleaning machine was huge. That I don't think we've had an SSO that wasn't related to either a broken pipe or an act of God since that we've gotten that machine and cleaned virtually all our systems. So that,
Excellent.
actually, no, it's not true. Lift station B3 failed in the middle of a storm and,
Other than that.
but other than that, actually related, right?
Yeah.
And that backhaul was gonna help us with that one. That was, but right, the other ones have been either broken pipes or lift stations.
Camera system too.
Yeah.
And we have, the new camera rig has helped a lot as
Yeah.
well to take a look at those problem areas and get a better idea of what it might take to fix them and.
I had one question, and I hope it's not a sensitive subject that I'm not supposed to bring information about that. I saw a mention of the little house there at San Simeon Creek Campground, the little house
The
that's.
Van Gordon House
Yeah,
on
man.
district property.
Yeah, it was mentioned that, to either give it to the state to deal with, or do we own that
Yeah, we do.
property?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have plans yet for what to do with that little house, or?
That is a topic. No,
The fire department has been using it for training, but it's
Their
kind of run
train
its course in terms of.
usually burns down the house, so doesn't it?
Well, no, this is more of like roof operations, ventilation drills, things of that nature, interior search. You can even put a fog machine in there and it can do simulated fire rescues. But it's in bad shape, and so there's only so much they can do, without putting their own health at risk. And so we haven't decided what the long range plans for that place is.
the actual structure, the house itself it's non-rehabable.
Okay,
It's not rehabable. So unfortunately, it'd probably be a tear down, and you have all the infrastructure, everything you need out there. You have phone data from, our well fields and everywhere, electricity. So you have all the components you need. So if anything were to ever happen out there, maybe a trailer for
GM residents.
or on-call operators, yes. But yeah, there's just, I looked into removal of that house, I think, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And the price for appropriate removal, hazmat removal, because there's some hazardous material in the house, was about $130,000 6 years ago. So, yeah. So we just have to, there's some higher priorities, and I think for utilities in the district than removing that house right now. So I think I'll leave that there.
You still have water meters?
No, the water meters were removed.
Oh, good.
Half a decade ago.
Yeah, thought so. Just
Those
checking.
Those are shut off at the main. Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
See, the name of this has changed from the sanitary sewer management plan to the sewer system management plan.
That was
Is that,
interesting.
I saw something about that in the
Yeah,
beginning of
I
this
read that.
report.
It should, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the state wants us to. make.
Yeah,
They call it. I'm not super attached to.
Yeah. Chair Dean, unfortunately, the regional water boards has changed some names and some stuff to update their status, so we'll just follow suit with them. So if
Okay.
they want to call it a sewer, sanitary sewer or sewer system, whatever, yeah.
Okay,
we're
but
fine.
can we call it what we want, or we have to call it what they want?
I would follow their nomenclature, yes. just
Now
keep
it's
it
gonna
simple.
be a,
Yes,
no, it's gonna be a sewer system management.
yes, but I think to us, it's always been sanitary sewer for like 50 years, so. That'll be a hard one for me to break, so if I do talk about this during a board meeting, just go ahead and correct me. I'll apologize in advance. I get names stuck in my head and they just come right out there, so,
I
yeah.
like sanitary sewer.
It kind of emphasizes the importance,
Yeah.
I think.
But so one other, before we move on to that, one other one, so element 10 talks about audits, so we're supposed to go through and look at the plan ourselves. How well are we implementing it, how well is the plan working, and do we need to add anything? We're supposed to do that within the first 3 years. We adopt a plan, then within the first 3 years, we do an audit. And then the next 3-year period, at the end of that would be an updated plan. Again.
So we'll revisit this all in 3 years. And again, we're not trying to put anything that's impossible to do on there. We want to set high standards, but we don't want to set ourselves up for failure here. So we don't want to we're going to replace 30 miles of, infrastructure. That's just not financially feasible and physically feasible. So we want to put obtainable goals on here that make measured impact for us as far as this plan goes. As we get a little bit further along here, element 10 is our communication plan. We've kind of talked about regulatory requirements and how we put information in mailers or R&I and these platforms to get the word out and that communication out. That kind of talks about it. And thank you, Ms. Thompson, for all the important stuff that you put on the website. And that on there. Hopefully everyone is looking at the website for updates. And then interagency communication is obviously important with fire and related water help with wastewater teams and all that. Staff training and communication, that's a key piece on there. And I think that really kind of finishes up a kind of brief overview of this, but yeah, again, any questions on appendix or figures, we can go over.
Any questions? But
Well, I have one, it's kind of frivolous, but there's the page with the photograph showing how you can eyeball a spill and just determine.
The volume of it.
When I was noticing, I was just looking at it and saying, oh, it's got the same crowd in each one. I was just kind of wondering how that was done.
Yeah, I think they just opened up a valve to
Oh,
kind of illustrate,
Okay.
sides of
Well,
flow.
larger
helps the-
municipalities like the Los Angeles Department of Public Works will have a manhole installed in the yard that's connected only to the potable system. And so you can fill up the manhole with water and then have it come out at a rate that you decide, and then you can practice just like a fire department would have a training facility.
Interesting.
Some of these larger sewer entities have training facilities where you can do this. You can also, they make like a portable version. So it's just like a manhole that you connect to a garden hose. And same idea, you can turn up or down, how many gallons are coming out, you put it somewhere and then
Okay.
have your training exercise.
Practice rolling out your straw waddles and your absorb
Come out there, yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
back trailer or back truck and so forth.
Yeah,
what
so.
do you use for absorbent? Kitty litter?
Gee,
It's more about channeling it and trying to keep it out of the
Yeah.
drainage system rather than natural drainage system, so.
You mentioned absorbent. I just wondered.
There is some, so, the brand Pig. The PIG is the name. I'm not calling you that. Mr. Reed. That's the name of the manufacturer, and I think it's some proprietary absorbent that we have. I'm not sure exactly. Like if it's what material they use for that absorbent.
Probably the same stuff they put into pens or something.
Yes. So the gel that absorbs or something else in that band, but yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's kind of the quick Cliff Notes version of our sewer system management plan.
This looks like it was really a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
And I appreciate everything that you guys have all done on this.
Thank you.
I mean, very detailed and a lot more in it than what was in the previous plans. So,
Again, yeah, Mr. Reaper and I are looking at putting a really good document out there that, and again, we want it to make sense and we want it to be doable for operators and those results obtainable. So this is something that we would like to have out a couple of months ago, but we just needed those extra couple months to really look at the SSO response and the ERPs and put all the shareholders and stakeholders in there that we need to respond to and all that, and just get a really detailed version. I mean, honestly, if it was already a year or two late, what was a couple months if you were gonna make it even more accurate and,
Yeah.
have the document with integrity, which is something that they're looking.
Yeah, I think you guys were really thorough in this.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so, I don't see any hands up for public comment. And no one else has any other questions? Okay, then I need someone to move to consider forwarding a recommendation to the CCSD Board of Directors with this updated sanitary sewer management plan. So can I have a motion?
I will move, so move.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Take a roll call, Mr. Howell,
Aye.
Mr. Seaver, Mr. Grimall,
Aye.
and Mr. Webb.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 4 ayes and 1 absent. Okay, we're going to move on to receiving and discussing the updated prioritized CIP list in general fund CIP budget, but we're actually just looking at water and wastewater here.
Yeah.
So we're doing this a little bit differently than we've done it in the past. In the past, we've had the full CIP list showing what the budget requests were and the status of the projects that were already budgeted, but these are just now, mainly what you're looking at is being, level 1 priority, things that you want to add to the budget, but were there any other budget requests on things that are already underway at all?
Let's see.
So additional budget requests for ongoing or already initiated projects?
Yeah,
It will be.
We have them.
That are on this, I mean, let's station before is in the
Back trailer?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
okay, so are
That's
they the
green.
things that are highlighted in here? Are those the budget requests for projects that are already underway?
Yeah,
Yes, so I think we just have one, it's that green highlighter.
The green
It's a
one,
back
yeah.
trailer for.
Gray on here, but.
oh, it's green, yeah.
Green on mine.
Yeah. The other ones that are, what would look like would be highlighted, but they'd be gray, they're actually blue on the, sorry, I apologize. Are the brass meter bodies, so this is our 4-year phased approach to replacing 25% of town with new meter
Supposed to
bodies.
be one item instead of 2 separate.
Okay,
So that's why we kind of call those together, because it's actually one item, because you'll need the install, you need the bodies and you'll need the installation, yeah. And unfortunately, I thought it was a little bit aggressive. I thought we could do it, but we tried to install quite a bit of the registers and it was just not really obtainable for water staff to do that. So without torching them with that, going to this next phase of the project, I think we'll just go ahead and plan to have that installed. We had a fantastic installer for our registers, so again, we'll apply an RFP for that in the upcoming year and go ahead and have a contractor for installation.
so the brass meter batteries, what do they cost a piece?
One,
Right now, 3/4 meter body is $77. And
$77.
then the 1 inch go up to $220.
Wow, okay,
And then I don't know price off the top of my head, they're larger.
interesting.
which the phased approach will be primarily your 3/4 and 1 inch residential meters. And we'll be looking to phase that approach in.
Okay, so these are mostly residential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
And now, when we get to our commercial meters, our CII customers, where they have 2 inch compound, those will be rebuilt, because those compound meters are about the size of an engine. So it's quite a deal to remove that and install a new one.
Wow.
I mean, installation for one of those is probably close to,
Oh, good Lord.
yeah, probably close to 10 grand by the time you're done,
Ouch.
installing it and reinstalling it and, making landscape and surface back
Lord,
to,
yeah.
its original condition. So, we will rebuild the brass compound meter bodies.
Okay, so in your staff report, you mentioned that the wastewater and water department staff requests and recommendations were evaluated through an ad hoc committee. What ad hoc committee?
Well, it's gonna be R&I, so that's a typo. It should be through.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just like that
Yeah, no, that's,
you know, we have our R&I committee, ad hoc committee for determining prioritization.
I think we did that, yeah.
A while
That was
back,
last
but then-
year that
okay.
we did that, but yeah, this was more, sorry, I just.
Okay, just curious. I thought maybe we had an ad hoc committee here. I didn't. know about it. Okay, so do you want to go through the things that are on your list?
Sure.
Because most of these are level one, which means you're trying to put them into the budget, correct?
Absolutely.
And my total of the level one things is $10,095,000.
It exceeds our budget. Again, so we kind of overload some of the critical ranking ones. Some of the critical ranking ones, like the $150,000, those are projects that you can kind of perform at certain times of the years. It should be done in the wet season or dry season. They're smaller components, are still critical projects, but those are some of the smaller projects that you can execute sometime throughout the year, whenever it's beneficial. Again, for timeline with weather and what have you. And some of these you'd like to do, so some of the water improvements you'd like to have happen before we get into Maine, that really busier time of season where the consumption, goes up from about 300,000 or 400,000 up to over 500,000 to 600 a day. But again, so we're throwing these all out there, and yeah, we'll just like to see your response, and maybe some of our criticals won't seem so critical to others, so that's why we'll take everyone's comments here. And but so the Lemert generator, again, the generator that we just replaced at Rodeo Grounds is the exact model and year that we have at Lemert, pretty much right there. So again, this 1986 Cummins has served us well, and served its
Radiator needs repair. It's like a $7,000 repair that may work or it may not.
So again, with this 1986 device that was like a tier 0, horrible emissions, they're not
Oh my
making
God.
parts for me.
Oh, yeah.
And understandably, you don't want to keep a poorly performing, we want to call it a gross polluter, but something like that running. So, fabrication or repair for that takes fabrication, which is very expensive,
Yeah.
which is why this has kind of got pushed up. It's kind of in a climate action-ish realm too, where if you're operating this, you want to operate it as
Sure,
efficiently
sure.
and, cleanly as possible. And then we have horrible PG&E up in the Lemert area. That, and I would probably say that we have more power loss there than
Really?
anywhere,
Oh, interesting.
really.
Mhm.
Yeah, say that's accurate.
Interesting.
So this is something that we need regardless of upgrades on the tank or the booster station or a SCADA. Backup power is just critical at any time for us. So that's why that's a critical rank 1. Actually, Mr. Meeks, do you want to go over some of these? Do you want to go? This is your list, so please present.
Alright, so again, it's went over the generator at Lemert. Lemert SCADA rewrite. That is an old Tesco system with a bunch of outdated parts. We've tried to open up the cabinets to figure out what's going on, and our automation guy not happy with it. How old are those parts in there, Jim? Like,
So that was Gen 1 SCADA, so that would have been 2015.
yeah.
Hmm.
Lemert.
Which doesn't sound like much, but in the age of, when you think of how far we've come with this device of 10, think about SCADA. That's about that.
Lemert itself, it has a tank out there with 4 booster pumps. If a pump fails, we won't know. We'll lose pressure. That's not good.
Which is also a boil notice, as we've come to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that place solely runs off the pumps to provide pressure.
Oh, wow.
So Lemert has a little 7.5 horsepower pump that maintains 50 PSI at all times in that system. So it's not like our other booster stations where, they're tank controlled or level controlled, where they, okay, fire that up, fire up the well, boost that up to this tank. That's constantly running to maintain pressure. So if we have any related issues with SCADA or motor operation, and we're not alerted, as we know, this is Gen 1 SCADA that's over 10 years old, we'll get a pressure loss. We know if we go less than 25 PSI, we know after September that is a boil notice. So we don't want to ever have another boil notice unless it's planned because you're doing infrastructure work underground. So yeah, that's another kind of critical piece right there, which is why it has that 1 ranking.
Other SCADA upgrades in the system. We still have a lot of Opto 22 parts. when we lost power recently, we don't get alarms saying we lost power.
Hmm.
You just find out it's a tank drains. So I believe, I don't know, just stuff like that, updating radios, updating to the best modern communications that we can. ZLD, I just threw out a number figure. I truly don't know what the ZLD will
Yeah.
cost.
I was wondering.
Yeah,
why
I
that's-
think
Yes, I was wondering.
WRF analytics, all the analytics out there are shot. If they don't stay wetted, they're done. Last time the place ran was what, 2016 with the analytics running through it.
So your analytic equipment, your Hawk devices, your pearls, all that they have about a 10-year duty cycle to them, whether you're running them daily or not running them, to where they're just kind of inoperable.
Oh,
So that's why we're at there. That's a rank 3 because we're putting that a little bit farther down the line because we need to see our timeline with our CDP and with the coastal and other needs. So that's why it's still an important rank to us, but we just put that there just because we don't know right now when we're gonna actually be see that permit. I think we're positive and I think I see that. I think we see that within the year. So then we'll probably have to reevaluate these coming our next budget cycle.
Do you think we're gonna go through all the appeals within a year?
I think we could.
Okay,
We have
you have more faith in government timeline.
well, we are scheduled, I will say, for the first quarter of 2020. Six, will be before the planning commission. That'll be appealed to the board of supervisors. Give that 2-3 months to get on the agenda there, and then it'll be immediately appealed to the coastal commission. And I'm thinking within 6 months of its appeal to the coastal commission.
So fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter.
Oh, that would be great.
Wouldn't that be something? Wow.
Yeah, wow. And then the coastal commission will kind of tell us what we can and can't do with it, right?
More than likely, they will have conditions on its operation.
Yeah.
You know, so it'll take staff, and we've already started preparing our rationale for operating it outside of that stage 6 drought. You know, so before the aquifer becomes so shallow that we have to start using the WRF in that really brackish water, there's an opportunity for us to re-inject earlier, keep the aquifer a little bit healthier. So we're gonna have to provide that rationale to the coastal commission, planning commission, board of supervisors, and then there's a lot of mitigation that we'll have to discuss with the coastal commission. So, you know,
Which is why we kind of kept the project description a little broader as far as capacity and volume.
and we still have the brain concentration issue. You know, ZLD is promising, but as you can tell by Mr. Meek's estimate there, which we really don't know what's gonna cost. Mr. Easter has completed his pilot. And they're gonna do a report that they actually have to do and submit it to the journals and the granting agency. As part of that report, he also has a whole piece that will analyze what it will take for us to operate this and give us a operating cost and capital cost.
This is what the board has been asking for, so that's great.
That'll come before RI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, another key piece is to see, prove the efficacy of it, and we did, but now we need that OpEx cost. What's the long term operation of that, so.
Well, it's good.
Yeah, and I was very pleased to see all of you there for the tour for the ZLD. So thank you all for coming.
Well, thanks for putting it together.
Yeah,
It was
well, we're gonna be
fascinating.
discussing it later. We need to know what we're looking at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, appreciated that.
Same thing with the UV system. See as we get closer to permitting. SR4 road. You wanna touch on?
Sure. Yeah, so that project scope has grown a little bit since we've gone underground and realized that what is a sewer force main there from the plant? It's just backwash water. It doesn't cover any other commercial or residential waste. It's just our backwash water there. It's what, a 4-inch line that runs at 770 feet. Well, that's 18 inches underground. And that needs to be about 4 foot to get proper compaction and material above that you can obviously drive like an 80,000 pound chlorine truck over to deliver chemicals to. So we've had to increase the scope in that. We've been working very closely with civil design and Monty on that. And we have put together a kind of a rough scope, which in January we'll be putting out for RFP. So again, a small little $40,000-$50,000 project has turned into a $100,000 project with, reorientation of infrastructure underground.
Yeah.
And we've been in coordination with the leadership at Coast Union.
So good.
They understand where we are.
So they, yeah.
We're actually looking for probably second quarter, summer of 26 groundbreaking. We don't really want to take this project and start breaking ground during the school year. And we've got some March, April-ish dates where there's some time away. I don't think it's enough time to execute while they're off the school.
Okay.
And then that puts us in an inclement weather time and where the ground's still kind of saturated from our wet season. Not the best time to go underground and try and put in a solid road. So we'll probably be looking, breaking ground when school's out about mid-June or maybe July. It's about a month-long project in total.
Vac trailer, I believe we have $65,000 budgeted right now. Quotes came back about the $80,000 range. It's possible for us to put ours out for sale. But I don't wanna be without a vac trailer, because that's how we repair all of our leaks. Not as a series of buckets. Hand shovels, we're able to pothole utilities with it. It's very important for us to have on site to repair leaks and for the safety of operators and other infrastructure.
So is this $105,000 to replace it or to repair it or?
To replace it, and then we could sell ours and recoup.
No, that-
Ours is low hours. It's starting to show signs of wear. Last summer, we had it in for a repair while we needed it for an emergency. And the cost of repair is starting to escalate for some of the components that are going wrong. We're out of the warranty period now. We purchased that in July of 2019 and took it on. So we're going on that 6-7 year mark. And we want to get rid of, I don't say get rid of it, but we want to send it to a good home while we can still get some good value out of that used piece of equipment.
John Deere tractor, so we just got the Case EV. It's large, the John Deere is a lot smaller, nimble, that we use on the tighter streets. That tractor is also over 25 years old now.
Yeah, closer to 30.
Yeah.
But it's running.
Yeah, that's getting more expensive to repair. The frame bolts sheared earlier this year. Welds are breaking on it. We re-welded it, but we're keeping it up and running. But
But you got it as a priority 3.
Yeah, there's some internal dissension between Superintendent Meeks and I about buying another tractor, so we'll just,
Sense that.
yeah. We'll digress to the next budget item.
trucks.
oh, yes.
We have 2 trucks over 100,000 miles. I don't know.
They're 15 years old and they're over 100,000.
Well,
This is kind of part of that electrify our fleet and reduce our carbon footprint and kind of help control our climate action plan too. So
Are there any grants for that? Another truck?
we could get some PG&E funding, sure. They're about $4,000 now for any additional truck you have. We could look back into the APCD, all that was more for infrastructure and equipment related installation and permitting on that, but we're always looking at funding for these.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, this was really a hot and heavy topic about 2 years ago.
yeah.
And I think a lot of those dollars got absorbed up into it. Kind of like the electric tractor that we've got that, $290,000 fund. All those funds are gone for agencies like us for that right now. So we'll continue to look, but I'm not gonna, doesn't look too promising right now for truck funding.
The Pembroke water main, it's had 2 repairs on it over the past 10 years. The pipe itself seems undersized for the area. It's also PVC pipe.
It's a schedule 44-inch PVC line that goes almost a quarter mile, and it makes Superintendent Meeks and myself very nervous. This was on our docket for this year, but was cut from the budget. So we're just putting it back on there and will be one of our priorities in this next fiscal year.
Mhm.
Moonstone saddle replacement. Every time we have a leak on Moonstone and I have to get near the saddles, it's not fun. They're always corroded because they're right next to the ocean.
It gets that king tide influence, it'll absorb all that groundwater, so then you've got this. And unfortunately, the saddles that were put back in the time, 40 some years ago, were dissimilar metals, so they had a brass saddle with like a stainless or galvanized strap that went to it, so those two things have, of course, corroded each other. And they're at an accelerated degradation rate. We absolutely hate working on Moonstone. It is the worst road to shut down in our community. It's harder to shut down Moonstone than it is Main Street. And,
half the cost of this is asphalting.
Yeah.
My lord.
The asphalt
it's a road
is
repair.
12 inches of asphalt.
Yes, yes,
Ouch.
at least one.
This.
We touched on the brass meter installation pad. These two line items should just be one consolidated project.
Mhm.
And then aiming to get about 25% of the system done here, residential.
And this is the cost of 25% or the cost of the whole thing?
That is,
It would be the cost of the whole thing.
Right.
Okay. So
yeah,
it's
the
2-3 million.
1.5 would be, and this is kind of under guidance from, Ms. Prince, our finance manager. When we put the costs in there, we're putting the cost for the entire project,
Oh, I see.
But you're
Yeah.
only doing
but
25.
we're doing 25%, that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Makes sense.
You can go ahead and skip over that next,
The
ranking
graded
three item.
Mini X. I still want one.
The- Oh, the trailer?
What is it?
It's the
It's another
tractor.
tractor.
You know.
We would even like one of every flavor and every color, and that's probably not gonna happen.
Okay.
So, we'll go ahead and digress to the wetland water main.
This is the one running through a state park, to get rid of the temporary above ground HDPE high line.
Now, we've got a total budget cost, which is estimated, back 2 years ago when we first went to, RFP for consulting on this, and, obviously, we think that cost has escalated, but that includes both water and wastewater in that project cost there.
That's $4 million to take those two lines out of the wetland, or is this
To
two?
install, we're gonna
They
do
do
this.
Oh, you don't have to take them out.
No,
Okay, so this is for the new transition.
this is just the new install, yeah, which
Water
are,
and effluent lines.
right, yeah, which
Okay.
will most likely be HDD, horizontal drilling
Yeah.
through there.
Uh,
I don't think we wanna, open cut trench, but, state parks may steer us in that direction, we'll see.
mhm.
Hopefully not, that's a bit more costly. But yeah, so again, that's between the water and wastewater line, that's a total fill of 4, which is probably closer to 5 above now for that project cost.
Okay,
Um,
we're gonna try to do this next year.
well, there's some other funding mechanisms that we'll need to align with for this.
Okay.
I think we're looking at doing a couple of our larger projects, like lift station B4. This, kind of incorporate them into some sort of loan or funding.
Okay,
Yeah, so we won't beat around the bush. We need a rate increase.
no, I know.
Yeah, so, there's a lot,
Those times.
yeah, there's a lot of, zeros at the end of some of these numbers that
Yeah.
just currently right now with our reserves, we don't have.
Uh,
Yeah, so, some of these critical, lift station B4, transmission, effluent line, those are big projects that need to happen.
Rodeo grounds.
Rodeo grounds,
Relocation
relocations, and those are multi-million-dollar projects, so. The only way around that is some type of bond funding that is supported through our ability for debt service, and the only way we're able to get the ability to pay the debt service on a bond like that is a rate increase.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You've
So,
got the rodeo grounds water yard, as a level 2.
Right, because while there's criticality to it in flood years,
Mhm.
the infrastructure there is old, our plumbing underground's a complete nightmare. But you can hang on to it, it's doable for a couple years, but again, anything more than 2 years, we're gonna be putting more money into repair than it's worth.
So is this the cost just for moving all the water infrastructure or for using the F&R buildings too?
5 would probably cover moving all the water. So the SR3 treatment plant, we need new CT tanks for there, the booster station moved. And this is a low estimated cost for at least putting some semblance of F&R shop there as well.
Oh, I
Okay.
see.
Yeah. I'm sure not to the grand scope that Mr. Geary would like, but that would at least get us started with that project. You can get some of this equipment into a shop
Okay.
and relocate their offices.
Makes sense. I have a question about that though. In parentheses, the conflict resolution.
Yeah. I was gonna ask that.
Next day.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that ended up there.
Well, it sounded intriguing.
Yeah,
What got my attention, I was hoping you'd say something about this.
I can't remember why. It's just-
Okay,
Tank asset management program, we're getting to the point where tanks need to be coated inside and out. If not, we're gonna be losing steel to rust. This is a program that you pay for and have it essentially in payments over years, and then they do a bunch of work all up front and they maintain the tanks for you.
Yeah.
So this is spread over how many years? Is it 5?
We're looking at 5, like a 5-year plan. It would probably be about 150, 170 a year
Oh,
for this.
Nice.
So kind of like getting a new car, your payments and your interest are kind of built up and front loaded.
yeah.
So right now we've got our Pine Knolls tanks, which are just over 10. Just hit
2007.
2007, geez, yeah, so we're almost 20
Almost.
with those. The exterior coating, we've had a good dive, but there's some areas that should be looked at for repair. So those repairs start to get really costly in one-offs. So if you do, and you kind of package this into an asset management, it controls the cost and then it diverts that cost over the 5 years. So you're not coming out with $1 million project one year.
okay, so a lot of these projects are going to be stretched over several years. And this is the total cost of the project that's in the list, correct? Okay, so this isn't this total I came up with it. Left the ones that's $10,095,000. This isn't what you're asking to put into the budget for 2026. This is a 5-year plan for the most part.
Yeah.
So
That
it'll
10
be
million.
some each year, right? Okay,
Correct.
thank
Yeah,
you.
because that 10 million is about,
So you're
uh,
10,000,000.
Crazy word.
about 2.5 years of water revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a little bit ambitious.
Just making sure, because otherwise it's a little scary.
Well, capital, I mean, CIP is scary when we look at all that we need to still tackle and improve for water and wastewater. So this is why it's really important to have kind of a strategic approach to this and prioritize.
Glad to know it's money, not all at once. It's
Not all.
Okay.
For the sake of time, is there any specific one that you want, Mr. Meeks to go over?
Are we running out of time?
Well, I'm saying there's a half an hour left and do we have another piece on the agenda?
Is there
We
any,
have to cover wastewater's portion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Anybody have any questions on
Let's
what's on the
see.
rest of the list?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you have the list in front of you? Do you have an agenda, Mr. Grimwell? I mean, do you have the whole report?
Yeah, I just took the main report.
Okay.
I have it.
Okay.
Um,
Anybody have any questions on the rest of the things on this list?
I have a question about the 9P7 entry there, but there's no money associated with it.
Again, so that's our raw water source for WRF, right? So, in prepping for the pilot run and creating some brine for our recent pilot, we noticed that we're starting to take on some sand
Oh, I see, okay.
on there. So yeah, so either the column or our pump, we're most likely the column is kind of like what we experienced at SR4 back in 2022. When we replaced the pump and motor and casing there with
Oh,
the
yeah,
larger
yeah.
pump and more efficient submersible and that there. There's a camera and it's usually $5,000. I think it used to be a camera, so that means it's probably like 8 now to camera it. And there's some repairs called swage repair you can do on that drop casing
Oh.
that they'll go down and underwater can weld and seal up any of those holes. So again, we're looking in that 5 to 10 grand range, and it's again a category 3 because this isn't something that we just want to do just for the heck of it, but this is obviously tied to getting
Yeah.
our CDP and
Yeah.
operating out there. So before we go to regular operations, we would have the camera and perform any
I
needed
see.
repairs.
So this is more just a reminder, don't forget,
And the WR.
because it's not a lot of money. You know, so-
No, it's more just a pain to remove the pump and motor from the top and go down and do that. But yeah, the dollar amount isn't egregious for what we need to do there.
Sorry, Karen, I think I interrupted you.
No, I interrupted you. The WRF injection pipe rehab, that's the same situation. That's kind of waiting for the CDP.
Again, so we have moved that re-injection line once in the summer of 2019. Yeah, it was on the bank there. Right as you kind of go to re-injection 1, but the creek kind of meanders right there. That bluff was starting to erode off, so we moved that pipe 60 feet up higher up on the hill and did all that at that time. But we have some other areas that are concerning right now. And if we have another big 2023 storm, we'll be needing
Got
to,
it, yeah.
yeah, re-solidify that.
Okay, so any other questions on the water department list? Okay, so if not, we can move on to the wastewater. And I see that all of these things on this list are critical level 1s. But yet we have it listed from 1 to 10, so is the 1 to 10 the order in which you want to do them? Or
That's
the 1 to 10?
That's Superintendent Arthur's kind of his ranking, internal ranking right there, so. Again, some of the smaller projects, like if you've got like a $10,000 or a $60,000 effluent pump station. Well, those are things that you can kind of take out of sequence. When you have the money, or if something fails and it raises that priority up a little higher. Those are digestible, obtainable projects during the budget year.
Got it.
But unfortunately, again, as you know, Mr. Reaper has stated, like our wastewater system degrades at a much faster rate than our water system. So unfortunately, it looks like we're, just crying and screaming here, but these to us internally are all critical.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with station B4.
Right. B4 will end in the next year, yeah.
Okay, so is this
Before we
all
go.
money being needed this upcoming year or spread out for long term on some of this?
This is pretty much, this isn't long term. This isn't like the capital improvement or the assessment plan for the tank assessment rather, where we can, stretch that out over 4 or 5 years or 6. These are all pretty much need to be paid at time to complete the project.
So
So
this
these
year's
are
budget.
this year budget impactful,
I
correct?
see.
Yeah. And as you can see, they're about 3.4 and wastewater revenue is about 4.
We do have $1 million already for lift station 4.
Right,
Before on it.
Oh, cool.
just
Was
around.
not noted in this, and then. A lot of small items, we need to include them on the CIP list because they're capital projects. They must be evaluated as capital projects,
Sure.
not just O&M, so that's, even though we're talking small amounts of money, they're still above the capital addition threshold and therefore. They must be considered capital projects, and it gets a little more nuance when you're talking about how do you delineate repair versus replacement, and well, when you go to replace a whole roof.
Yeah.
That's not repair,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
capital expense replacement.
Okay, so anybody have any questions about the things on the wastewater list? Do you wanna, not everybody has does everybody have a list in front of them? No?
Yeah.
It's page 195.
Let's see.
You wanna just name
Oh.
off what's on there, so if somebody has a question, that's.
Absolutely. So lift station B4, we've talked about, lab roof and flashing. Lab roof and flashing replacement, that is over the laboratory in that main building, which is off of the training room and before the equalization basins there. That whole, roof is failing. Basically, I think it's the original roof.
It might be,
It might be the original. And mind you, we're gonna be putting that new generator in there, that new 650 kVA generator. So that's, you know, $250,000 generator. So we definitely want to protect our assets underneath that. So that's why that's kind of a critical, and it's a digestible amount, not a huge.
and we need to wait to do this because there are opportunities that are sticking through the roof. Like one of them, especially for the old generator that's in the building, we have to take the old generator out and get the new generator in service before we can replace those components. And so, we wanted to wait to do all that work and do it all at once rather than doing it piecemeal.
Makes sense.
So you're talking about the building to your left when you go in the driveway, right? And the new generator is going next to the
panel.
Yeah, the new generator will be outside.
It's out.
So we won't really be protecting the new generator.
Right, okay.
But, you know, we've got new MCC panels in there. We spent quite a bit. That was a huge cost factor, you know, anything electrical is metal is money. So that's why we want to definitely replace that. And get that taken care of. So yeah, I didn't mean to be misleading saying that new generator is going to be covered by the.
Yeah, okay. I was just.
There's a ton of new components in that building. Thank you for that. Set management and program reporting, that's ranked as a 4. But that's something that we're looking at, like OpenGov for, this will be for water and wastewater, it'll actually be for other features of the district. We could use the asset management for FNR, for even assets in the admin office and so forth. So that's something we'll probably be bringing to you, hopefully, our next R&I. We'll probably have a little bit more intel on OpenGov and what it offers, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that asset management program. And for OpenGov, this will be other things too than just asset management. It'll be more for our reporting and storing our permits and getting a calendar for our sample analysis and running things like that. We're kind of spread all over files and not really organized there, and that kind of helps us organize.
We've been talking about doing an asset management plan for years.
Yeah, John Alchin and I, I've been talking about it since 2019. So we need to find something, just stick to it, whatever it is.
As long as I've been on R&I, which is 2018.
We
been talking
found a
about
great vendor who, thank God we didn't go with, because they've since gone out of business in the last year. So this is why we're now not looking at just inexpensive, small mom and pop shops. We're looking at the larger, like OpenGov and Clear and some of these larger companies.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Let's see.
What else?
Effluent pump station, level flow, again, just analytics.
Okay.
That'll kind of be driving, be driven by we have a new DWR permit that's coming out that will be rolling out January 1st. That's been completed. While we're talking about that, I will note there was a component to the WRF or ZLD that was on there that has been removed. Just in an effort to get this DWR out. This is something that Regional Water Board has been promising us this document for almost a year, and they have finally delivered, I think, about a week ago. So we're reviewing it. It's nothing new. We're already in the sample process for this new permit, and this will just be rolling out the new report. There's the TDS we have taken a little issue with. Their MCL is at 500. We pull water out of the ground, raw water out of our groundwater at about 495. So there's not much wiggle room with that TDS. So that's something we're trying to negotiate. A little bit of tolerance, a little bit of freeboard in there for, so we're not receiving those violation for something that we're pumping out of the ground at that MC.
Gotcha.
Basically exceeding MCL or almost at that MCL for just pumping it out of the ground raw. So there's some issues that we have to work out with these, with regional water boards. But yeah, again, some of these analytics are kind of driven by that new permit and where we need to install them and keep an eye on for monitoring and our regulatory compliance. Fencing and gate replacement, again, that's kind of along security and, keeping the bad guys out and or the fencing and gate is keeping the deer out. If deer like to come into the plant and then they end up in the perk ponds and then we can't get them out of the perk ponds, so. You know, it becomes a problem.
You know they can jump over a fence.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. 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 We try and keep the deer as honest as we can. If they're gonna jump an 8-foot fence and how much more we can do about it, you know? Back up to LMLE blower. So this is, to have some redundancy, and this is to get some of this, so this, we have that one blower, the blowers 5 through 7 that we'll need to have backups on it. So if we have basically one to show, one to go, so if we have a failure, we can plug and play one in without skipping a beat. Still much main replacement, I think the rest are kind of speak for themselves, but yeah, if you guys have any questions or concerns, I think we kind of always bring this to R&I. Is there something maybe out there that you guys see that maybe we overlooked? Sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees because we're so involved with daily operations that we kind of pick our little nuggets and stuff that irritate us or that we know, but I mean, if there's anything else in water or wastewater that you guys can suggest.
Can I ask one
Sure,
about
yeah.
the ion water project?
Mhm.
You know, we replaced the readouts for the meters to the cell system. And it's really a dandy thing. I mean, I've got a little app on my phone and I can look at how much water I'm wasting, saving. But I'm wondering, in aggregate, has it affected your job? I mean, do you have greater visibility into water use now than you used to?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's a lot easier to defend invoices and billings when you have that granular data. Those meters get data every 15 minutes. So when you have an individual that's saying, there's no way, absolutely, I don't have a leak. And you look at 3 o'clock every day, they use 300 gallons over the course of an hour. And you say, well, do you have an irrigation system that made it? Nope, that's shut off. Well, here you go. Every day at 3 o'clock AM, it comes on and they look at that and go, oh yeah, we never shut off that. So it's very helpful for determining, leaks, yes or no, and then where they're coming from. You can get really granular. So you can tell if it's a toilet that flushed or if it's a dishwasher or a washing machine cycle that took
Yeah, I can
place.
see where my wife waters out the yard with hose. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been very beneficial for us. I apologize, we're still kind of integrating it. So, still very task heavy for admin and for water staff because we're still inputting numbers and getting some of these were all hand entered digits.
Accounts.
Yeah, accounts, 16-digit accounts and then inputting all these numbers in. So tremendous amount of respect and thanks to Mr. Johnson here for it's tedious. We're getting there. So right now, we haven't seen a reduction in staff time to that, but we definitely will see that coming
Okay.
forward.
I also wanted to ask about the satellite service that we initiated and found 17 leaks and fixed them all.
Oh, yeah.
But you signed up for 2, I think.
We did.
And have we done the second one yet?
Yeah, go ahead.
The second scan took place last month.
Okay.
We just got results for it today and we'll be having boots on the ground January 5th. To help us go through all the points of interest.
And are there some more
Yeah.
leaks to look at? Okay.
Okay, so this agenda items on the CIP list. So we're supposed to be considering forwarding the CIP list to the Finance Committee for review for their 2025-2026 fiscal year preliminary budget. So is everybody comfortable with everything that we looked at on these CIP lists for water and wastewater? Does anybody have any more questions on what's on these lists? Any objections to what's on these lists? Any concerns?
Any additional?
I was just gonna say that.
Hopefully not.
Anything you think needed to be added to these lists? No? Okay, so I need a motion to forward this updated CIP list to the Finance Committee. May I have a motion? Mr. Grimald? Okay, second? Oh, Mr. Webb?
I'll do it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna take a vote. Mr. Grimald?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Mr. Seaver?
Aye.
Mr. Howell?
I,
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 person absent. Okay. So. Board of Directors approved the new board meeting and standing committee meeting dates for this upcoming year. And we have scheduled meetings quarterly. So every 3 months we'll be having meetings unless there are other things that need to be discussed that are important, in which case we can call a special meeting. Okay, part of the reason that these were changed was, my understanding is that people think we've had too many cancellations for one thing. And there's no point having a meeting if there's not things to discuss, but the cancellations were mainly due to things like we didn't have a quorum, or there wasn't enough things ready that we had enough information for to hold the meeting. So we're scheduling the meetings, 4 meetings for next year. And the dates will be January 12th, 2026 at 2 o'clock. April 13th, 2026 at 2 p.m. August 17th, 2026 at 2 p.m. and December 14th, 2026 at 2 p.m. Is everybody okay with those dates? Okay. If there are other things that we need to discuss, we can always call a special meeting. And if on these particular dates, we don't have enough to discuss, we can cancel it, right? Okay, but for right now, this is what our schedule is for next year. January, we already have things for the agenda, correct? And I think we were gonna bring something that's gonna come in February, and I can't remember what. Were we gonna have a meeting in February?
I think that would be the ZLD evaluation.
Okay, so,
Yeah, looks like it's coming to us around January, but we still need time to prepare a staff report, so that might be our first special meeting.
okay, so. Yeah, we may have a special meeting in February for that. I'm sure that after,
I'm not sure the UWNP lines up with that
Yeah,
April
I
date,
don't know either.
so there, we might have to double down on a February or March meeting for those 2 items.
okay, so look at your calendars for February or March while we're at it. And let us know. We'll let you know if there's things ready for those dates, but otherwise, everybody okay with those dates?
Good.
And those dates are in your agenda packets. You can put them on your calendar. So we're going to future agenda items, and we were talking about the Astera thing.
oh, right,
Or we
yes.
can have any kind of report in January, maybe.
We'll be doing the repairs and so forth, so I think that that'll probably be something we can just kind of circle back to for the scheduled meeting.
Okay, so what do we have on the agenda as far as you're concerned, that you're gonna be ready with for January?
January, we will have,
Are we bringing this list back after that? We don't have a finance committee meeting this month though, do we? So we won't be getting.
This morning.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Stewart Street update.
Yeah,
We get it with Stewart Street update, definitely. We'll have an update for the pipeline, but we should have a full presentation just about wrapped up, hopefully. Again, I don't wanna get too aggressive with this, but our Santa Rosa Stream Bank rehabilitation.
Oh, that's right. That's what we have.
Yeah, I think we can promise that without being too aggressive, but we've
Absolutely, we're almost pretty close.
we're really close to the project description and kind of our strategy for that, so yeah.
okay. Anything else? Anybody have any other suggestions for future agenda items? No? Okay. If nobody objects, it is, I can't read that, 3:43? I still have one eye that needs to be fixed. 3:43, and I will adjourn the meeting.